If you do not understand white supremacy, which is racism, or racism, which is white supremacy, what it is and how it works, everything else that you understand will only confuse you. If you do not understand white supremacy, what it is and how it works, everything else that you understand will only confuse you.
Welcome back. Welcome back to another episode of Politics, Economics, the Struggle to Survive in America. I'm your host. My name is Gerald President. And today's episode, what I'm going to be talking about is State Senator Flowers. She's from Arkansas. And what she's talking about is extremely important because it harkens back to what happened to Trayvon Martin when he was murdered, assassinated, hunted down by Mr. Zimmerman. Now, what's so fascinating about State Senator Flowers is she has something that most black men that I encounter don't have. And that's a pair of balls. And the reason why I say that, living here in America, being a descendant of a slave, being a black man, we were never allowed to have a pair of balls. So you need to understand, we were emasculated once they brought us here. We could not conduct ourselves and carry ourselves with dignity. And it doesn't matter what part of the Western Hemisphere we were dropped off on after we got off those slave ships. And so living under the system of white supremacy, which is why I always start every show off with Mr. Neely Fuller Jr., if you don't understand white supremacy and how it works, everything else will only confuse you. Well, one thing I really have to respect about State Senator Flowers is she had it in her, the intestinal fortitude, to go back verbally at the white supremacists using her First Amendment right, freedom of speech. Now, this individual, he's going to try to shut her down. He tries to bully her, but she stood her ground, which is something Trayvon Martin didn't have an opportunity to do. Eric Garner, Michael Sterling, Philando Castile, Mike Brown, and a list of other black men who look like me, Emmett Till. Now, what was going on in Arkansas is they're pushing the stand your ground game again. Now, I want you to understand something. They have a right to open carry, except if you look like me. Which is why Tamir Rice was gunned down within 3 seconds of the slave patrols. I'm sorry. Correction. Police officers shot his life out of his body. Now, I just want you to listen to her. It's going to be in 2 different segments. And I want you to listen to how powerful and how articulate and how forceful this black goddess spoke. See, black women have always had to be the men in the homes because we couldn't be men. Now, there's going to be some people that's going to say, hey, man, what you talking about? I need you to understand. We could not be men in America because they emasculated us. They emasculated us. This is what happens when you have centuries of slavery. And then you tack on another 100 years of Reconstruction / Jim Crow, legal segregation. This is what happens. You emasculate a population. And then once you emancipate us, you incarcerated us once again with your 13th Amendment to the Constitution that guaranteed slavery in America. So without further ado, here's State Senator Flowers from Arkansas.
I'll be as quick as I can, as quick as it takes to kill somebody, I guess. You want me to be that quick. But, you know, as Ms. Fletcher pointed out, and it doesn't take much to look on the local news every night and see how many black kids, black boys, black men are being killed with these stand your ground defenses that these people raise, and they get off. So I take issue with that. I'm the only person here of color, okay? I am a mother too, and I have a son. And I care as much for my son as y'all care for y'all's. But my son doesn't walk the same path as yours does. So this debate deserves more time. I'm in Pine Bluff. We have killings regularly down there. Mr. Hunter knows, he's our prosecutor. Now, I don't know where the heck, I know where you are from, Gary. And I don't know really where Mr. Ballinger is from. But I can tell you that for a long time since I've been back here in Arkansas, I have feared for my son's life. Now, he's 27, he's out of Arkansas. And I thank God he is when you're bringing up crap like this. It offends me. And then to limit the debate too, this is crazy. You don't have to worry about your children, Will. I worry about my son. And I worry about other little black boys and girls. And people coming into my neighborhood, into my city, saying they got open carry rights, walking down in front of my doggone office in front of the courthouse. That's a bully. Do I have a right to stand my ground with some crazy ass person walking around with a doggone gun? I don't know what the hell he intends to do. But I know I am scared. I feel threatened. Just like some of y'all walking around here up in the legislature with these damn guns. That, what's his name, Garner came in here, walking around here with a damn gun under his coat. You can see the damn print.
Senator, you need to stop.
No, I don't.
Yes, you do.
No, I don't. What the hell are you gonna do? Shoot me?
Senator.
Senator shit. Go to hell. I'm telling you, this deserves more attention. You want to come up here with all these little NRA bills and bills that Alec have and all that stuff. I'm talking about my son's life.
Did you get that? Did you see the force? Did you see the force that she used? She didn't curse them. She spoke directly to their face. This is something that a lot of us that look like me, we don't have. We refuse to use this. Now, this is something that's historical in America, going back to the meritorious manumission, where we would snitch on each other and we would do everything to curry favor with our masters. Again, meritorious manumission emasculated us. It made sure that we never looked out for the collective and we looked out for self, which is why we have a plethora of black men in positions in the United States Congress and throughout all the United States and certain legislatures and municipalities. They refuse to address the true problem that goes on in America, and that's white supremacy. They want to get along to go along or go along to get along. And they play this game. They walk around on eggshells even when they ascend to the highest level of office, which was the president. They refuse to address that 15,000-pound gorilla that's been able to grab hold to every nook and cranny, every inch and acre of land on this planet. See, that's the power of white supremacy and how global that institution is. But here's a young black woman, and I'm going to say young for the prefaces and the purposes of this. See, she's young in spirit. She's young in spirit. She has the intestinal fortitude of a Harriet Tubman, of a Nat Turner, of a Marcus Garvey, of a Malcolm X. That's what she has in her. People who I come in contact with every day, They're afraid. And I'm going to bring up one of my buddies who always says, man, I just can't talk like you, Mr. President. I can't talk like you. And he's listening to this, and I know he's going to snicker and laugh. And I'm always making him understand. And I reinforce to him, the United States Constitution gives him that right to speak. Gives him that right. The First Amendment gives him that right. My ancestors didn't have an opportunity to utilize that First Amendment because they was never considered a citizen of this nation. But this black woman, state senator, Flowers, she utilized that. And she spoke right to their face. Why? In the 21st century, 2019, why do we still have this curse that's upon us? You don't have to be afraid. See, black women have always had the better part of what's been happening to us. When we was getting buck broke in front of our families, when we was being sold, mutilated, disemboweled, the black woman had to take care of our household, the master's household, and they had to tend to every other chore that particular master wanted done. While what did we do? We had to do what was best at that particular moment and try to survive. So we walked around with our head down because it was illegal for us to look at a white man, because we knew what would be the ramifications. And so then we passed that down to each and every successive generation that built this fear in us. See, we'll buck up at one another. We'll look at each other and we'll put the paws on you. You step on my shoes, I'm putting the paws on you. We get rowdy with one another. But then as soon as those Europeans, those white men come by you, what's the first thing you do? You get quiet. I have a gentleman, had a conversation with the other day. Every time he spoke, he looked around. He did like this. And I asked him, why you keep looking over your shoulder, man? Now, he's going to listen to this show. Oh, he's listening to this show. And he's going to say, I know you talk about me. I'm not going to call your name. I would never do that. This is what they've instilled in us, to always look over our shoulder and to be afraid of just speaking. And I understand, it's historical. It is historical for us to snitch on one another, which is why I constantly want to reinforce to you the meritorious manumission, to show you how many centuries this goes back of them pitting us against each other. And they've taken this globally. And it doesn't matter who you are. The white supremacists use this on their own people who look like them. This is a global operation. And they've played this repeatedly over and over. It's a science now. But this particular individual, State Senator Flowers, hey, she let them know. And she knows in her heart, I can't use stand your ground. I know what's going to happen. I have a buddy, and I said to him, can you go online? It was a white guy, white gentleman. And I said, why don't you go online, and I want you to go find, because Google and the internet is going to show you. I want you to find every instance, well, a black man, black police officer shot an unarmed white kid or a white male. I want you to go online and find this for me. Then I say, now what I want you to do, go online and find any black man that's been able to use the stand your ground defense and not go to prison. See, you understand? Here in America, the Second Amendment was never written for us. We were slaves. The Second Amendment was written for the militias. The militias were the slave patrols. The slave patrols. Do you understand that?
Trashman didn't get my trash today. Oh, why? Because help